Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's Partner Spotlight, brought to you by Marketplacer. Today we're going to be focusing on one of our latest buy now, pay later integrations, Zip Payments, and also joined by one of our longest standing clients, BikeSportz. Since implementing Zip Payments, BikeSportz have seen an increase in basket size and an increase in conversion by giving their clients another option at the checkout. So today we're going to take you through how to activate Zip Payments through Marketplacer if you've already got a Zip account. And if you don't have a Zip account, how to create one and start boosting your online sales. So before we get stuck into today's webinar, I'd like to introduce you to everybody who will be on the call today. Starting from the left, that's me, Tom Buttigieg. I'm the Technical Partnerships Manager at Marketplacer. Zach Burkle. Welcome, Zach.
Hi, everyone. As Tom mentioned, my name's Zach Burkle, the Partnerships Product Manager here at Marketplacer. And along with Colin today, I'll be showing you how we're going to integrate and use Zip on the Marketplacer platform.
Colin Baines from Zip Payments.
Thanks, Tom, Zach, and Rowena. It's great to be here today and explain to all your Marketplacer customers exactly how integrating Zip can help and grow their business.
And Rowena Goodwin.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks for having me today. So I'm Rowena Goodwin from BikeSportz, and I'm the head of marketing there. And I've been with the company for over 3 years now.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. It's great to have you all on the call today. So moving on to today's agenda, we're going to hear from Colin just to explain a little bit about Zip Payments. Then we'll hear from Rowena about how implementing Zip Payments has worked for their business. And finally, Zach will take us through how to activate Zip in Marketplacer if you already have an account. And if you don't have a Zip account, Colin will take us through how to get one, activate that, and start to take advantage of Zip Payments through Marketplacer. All right, so let's get started. Colin, over to you to introduce everybody to Zip Payments. All yours, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. Happy to. I think the important part around Zip is just the way we do things. We're all around looking, and we started on the ethos of how do we activate more commerce and help consumers with a problem they were facing, which was credit cards are broken, issuance was at all-time lows, and consumers were moving en masse to debit and other streams of funding. They didn't want to pay exuberant interest rates, and they wanted to look at alternatives. And that was the basis of what Zip became and still is today, a core of what we do, is how do we enable our consumers and our merchant partners alternative ways to pay that enable commerce, simplify the way that the transaction works, and offer it in a way that consumers and merchants want to receive the funds as well as to spend the funds and help them manage their funds. And that's been the ethos of what we do. We are now available in 11 markets and continually to expand. Australia is still our home and still where we are heavily invested, but we also now are invested globally as we continue to push global. With that, we are pushing hard into the US, the UK, the Middle East, and broader Europe. Some of the interesting statistics there, and in Australia alone, we were the number one downloaded buy now, pay later app over the most recent peak holiday period, which is super exciting for us. And that's just showing the adoption that we're getting across our consumers and the excitement and engagement we have. What makes us different is we can enable transactions from $1 to $50,000 across our product suite, which means we can truly offer our solution to every type of payment across the ecosystem. And this really opens us up when we kind of think about verticals that we play in, verticals that we can target and work with. The sky's the limit. We can play with pretty much any vertical and any product because there's a need there that we can service through our products.
That's fantastic, Colin. Could you give us a little bit of an insight into what categories you see the greatest growth or the greatest potential for Zip?
Yeah, look, I think what we're seeing is that we're seeing consumer behaviour and consumer behaviour off the back of COVID really push us into new boundaries and push our products and our wallet into new services. And what we're seeing is, FMCG, travel, which weren't in the traditional space for us. We're starting to expand into those remits and get opportunities to look at those food delivery services, Internet of Things. All of these kind of different products, services and platforms are really starting to play a role because this is what our consumers are looking for and also what our potential merchant partners are looking for us to help enable.
Yeah, thanks, Colin. And you've touched on a couple of important points there. Firstly, the basket size, it could be from $1 to $50,000. So all of our marketplaces can get involved and the other one is it's fairly frictionless and easy to get started.
Yeah, so from our business partners that we work with, we have, as I said, a suite of different products that we can offer to those partners, which are, relatively simple to go through an onboarding process with us to be enabled to accept Zip and then be able to present those offerings to consumers. And it's as simple as, going to our Zip Business website, going through the process of actually then signing up to us. And then, exactly as I said, from $1 all the way up to $50,000, there's a product that can suit all those different buying. And I think the important part for merchants to understand is we take on the risk. We settle directly into their nominated bank account, and if there's any issues or problems with that transaction, Zip is working with them in partnership and is on the hook for the risk that's associated to that transaction.
Excellent. And I think what Marketplace was really excited about with this partnership, we talked about ethos, Colin, and marketplaces is make it easy to buy and sell things.
Yep.
Right? And which is why we find Zip such a fantastic partner, because your entire ethos is the same. Make it easy for buyers to buy things and make it easy to pay those sellers who provided that service. So we're very excited to push forward with this partnership.
Yeah. And I think that's where we look for partnerships as an organization, is where do we find platforms and partners that have that same ethos? It's about enabling commerce. That's what we're all in the business to do, whether the merchant selling the product or the platform enabling the payment. It's all about how do we enable that in a simple, transparent, ethical way and get rid of friction.
Yeah, thanks for that, Colin. Those core values you've touched on what it's all about. Enabling commerce, reducing friction to drive additional GMV through the platform. Let's move on to you now, Rowena, to take us through how implementing Zip has had a positive impact on the BikeSportz business. Over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. So I think since implementing, buy now, pay later methods to our websites, we've really found that the uptake has been really good. We found approximately 10% of our orders have been attributed to this platform and payment method. So it's really good to, ensure that your customers are given, greater flexibility when they're checking out. And it has also helped us with add-ons items to the carts, which, overall increases our return on investment. And I think it's also really important that you make sure that you've got the right payment methods for your customers. So it's really crucial to the success of your online business that you have the correct payment methods. So we definitely made the right choice with Zip Pay and including this offering on our platform.
Thanks, Rowena. Zip are absolutely rapt to have you as a partner, and we look forward to continuing to build and strengthen on the relationship we've already built.
Thanks again, Rowena. And if anybody does have any questions from a client perspective regarding implementing Zip payments, feel free to reach out directly to Rowena. We're going to provide her details at the end of the webinar. Moving on to the final part of the webinar, Zach, I'm going to introduce you now to take us through how to activate Zip within Marketplacer. And then Colin will throw it over to you at how to get a Zip account if some of the people watching don't have that account already.
Thanks very much, Tom. So what I'll do now is I'll quickly take you through a demonstration of how you enable Zip on the Marketplace platform. What I might also do is quickly lean on Colin to explain how the application process would work, because the first thing you need once you come to the Marketplace platform is your Zip account activated and ready to go.
Right, I think firstly, just to cover off just a couple of key points again, just for the partners on the phone. The important part is we'll increase your basket size by activating us. Our statistics clearly show that consumers that are spending with us are spending more with us, and that's an enabler for you. Think about bigger basket size and less and increased conversion. Daily transaction settlement, so that's going to happen. Calculations will happen daily and settlement will happen daily, and there's zero risk of the payment. And I think they're the three big things we really want the partners to understand. To actually set it up, it's pretty simple. You just got to go to zip.co/business/payments. Follow the steps through there. We're going to ask you some information about you in relation to, your ABN number, your business trading name, and those kinds of pieces, which we need. We are taking on the risk there, so it's a standard process that you would go through for most credit type applications. And then once you're set up, you are ready to transact, and it's as simple as that. And then through the Marketplace platform, they make the way of presenting Zip quite simple and seamless.
How long does the approval process generally take?
It can be as quick as a couple of hours. If all the information is given up front, it can be pretty quick turnaround. And we've obviously got a team all Australian based that can help and support merchants should there be any further information that we require or any further clarity we may need. We've got a team here on the ground in Australia to help and support.
One of the concerns a lot of our clients have, Colin, is what happens in the case of a refund scenario. With you mentioned Zip taking on a lot of the effort and the tracking of that. Could you quickly explain how that process would work and how you would work with the merchant together on any kind of refunds or fraudulent transactions that may come via Zip?
Yeah, look, we've got a risk team here that we'd be partnering with that merchant. So if the transaction's in relation to a particular, depending on the type, so is it fraud, is it a return, is it those kinds of pieces? There's different processes that we enable. We partner with the merchant around getting clarity from them in relation to their feedback to the disputed transaction or the issue with the transaction. And then we white glove that service with the merchant to make sure that we drive the right outcome, not only for the consumer, but also for the merchant taking both sides of that, of that case. And it does differ depending on what it is, but we're very responsible and ethical in the way we approach that with merchants and consumers understanding that there's a buyer and a seller in this transaction.
Fantastic. Thank you. Without further ado, let me jump quickly into a demonstration on the Marketplacer platform to show you how to enable Zip.
So the first thing you're going to want to do is get a Zip account by contacting Zip directly. As a part of that process, once you're approved, they'll give you some API keys. In order to add those API keys to Marketplacer, you need to move into your configuration window, down to payment methods, and add a new method for Zip. Once you've added a new method, you'll need to add your credentials, so your API key and your merchant public key. You can also add a merchant fee percentage or fixed base that will apply only to purchases that are used with Zip. Using these two fields will allow you to deduct the merchant fee cost from the remittance that you pay your seller. The second step of this process is to configure which elements of your taxonomy you would like Zip to apply to. There are certain taxonomies or certain categories that Zip cannot be used on. Zip will be able to advise you on what these are as part of your purchasing process. To change these, you go to categorization and then into categories. And by clicking the edit option here, you can scroll down and see that you can allow Zip payments in this category. Note that you must also do this for all the child categories. This can be done in a much simpler way by doing a bulk mapping. So you can download your current categories, update them, and then upload those categories back to change all of your categories in a bulk method. The final thing you'll need to enable is Zip on each individual seller. By default, once you enable Zip, all sellers can use Zip. However, there might be cases where a particular seller does not want to use Zip, and we've got the configuration for that. So in the seller portal, you can navigate to Cotton On and edit their member settings. By moving down to the base here, you can enable Zip payments or disable them directly via this toggle option. Once these three steps have happened, so sync your account, sync your taxonomies, and enable your sellers, if we move to the front end of the platform, you can see that I've added these products to my cart. And then if I move to the checkout screen, once I'm on the checkout screen, you can see one of the payment options is Zip. By selecting Zip and clicking the Pay Now button, you are redirected directly to a Zip homepage where you can sign in with an existing account or create a new account. Once the process of completing your Zip payment is done, it will return you to the order confirmation screen on Marketplacer. All of this information can be found in Marketplacer's knowledge base. Using Zip as a payment provider is the name of the article. It can tell you all the details that I've explained, as well as a little bit more information if you need it. As always, feel free to reach out to your customer success manager if you need any assistance in this way.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. It shows how easy it is to activate your Zip account within Marketplacer once you're ready to go. So that's it for today's webinar. I'd like to thank Colin, Rowena and Zach for joining us and making this possible. If you do have any questions, our details are on the screen at the moment. If you're a current Marketplacer client, feel free to contact your customer success manager. They will also be able to help with any questions you do have. So that's it for today. Thanks all for joining us. And finally, to all the Marketplacer clients out there, grow on.